On the other side traverses it, and you've got to coordinate really well if you want to hit anything. Behind that we have another Jeep, which I presume is a Ford, because I've only seen one Willis and I was told that wasn't parading. Behind that, of course, we have the Steyr. Now the Bedford, 250,000 of those were produced in total during the war. It's a 3.5 litre 6-cylinder engine, and when I was a small boy, yes it was that long ago, the Coleman used to deliver in a long wheelbase version with a flatbed. I don't know if anybody else remembers the Coleman coming round, but I'm sure there must be some here that do. You can't all be younger than me. Behind that, of course, we have the Daimler Ferret scout car. The Land Rover behind it, as I was saying, has served in Bosnia. We have another Jeep behind that with the General in it. Then we have the Packard Clipper. What a stunningly beautiful car. The aircon unit, by the way, is so big that it has to go in the boot. Yes, it does have aircon, a very early version of it. Now behind that we have a desert camouflage Land Rover. I can't give you any info on it because I never managed to get hold of the person who's driving it. Jeeps though we have in plenty, as you can see. We have a couple of ambulances there, of course. We have the Land Rover ambulance, which is from the 1970s. And then the two Dodges, an earlier model in front, a slightly later one behind it. I think he must have put a sock in that siren. It's a lot less loud than I thought it would be. Now all being well, they're going to do 2 laps of this, so if nothing else you'll be able to get a really good view of them.
That's what it is. Suggested earlier that if any vehicles look as though they're getting a little bit hot and bothered, then obviously they have an option to leave should it be necessary, and possibly that's the case.
worth going to have a look at those World War I lorries, by the way. They're quite something. The Dion Bouton especially is quite fascinating. In fact, I learned quite a bit talking to a chap. That I was looking at the front of it and I noticed the name Solex and also the location of Levallois, which is an area that I lived near to when I was on exchange in France. And they started off making radiators, and it is the same Solex that eventually made carburetors as well. As to the Velo Solex, I'm not sure whether that had anything to do with it, but it may possibly have done so. Anyway, Stuart coming past me again. Now a gap back to the next Jeep. Interesting little tales going back to the G-Wagon, which is now fourth in the line. This is an early version, of course, of what nowadays will cost you well into six figures were you to decide to have one. And one or two hilarious stories being told about the English and the Russians, for instance, quite happily winding each other up through various ruses and what have you. It's worth going to talk to them, actually. They've got some fascinating info. Behind that, of course, we have the Dodge weapons carrier. It's nice to get a wave, by the way. I always like getting a wave. And the interesting Land Rover, which I have to say looks like a chopped off long wheelbase, with the exhaust actually exiting next to the near side rear wheel. The Watt truck with the Vofas. As I said, if you fancy having a go at that, once they're back and in position, you'll be more than welcome to play around and see if you can hope to track anything that goes by. BSA M20 next in the line. And it's not actually parading today, but if you go back over to the vehicle line, you will see a Norton 16H, which was the Norton equivalent of the M20, probably a slightly faster bike. But this particular one is thought to have been captured at Dunkirk and then used by the